welcome to today's fairly quick episode of Not So Daily Musings. I'm Allysia, and the living room is a little bit haggard. I'm a little bit haggard. I got 3 announcements for you. 2 of them are really more announcements than the other, just things that I'd love to share. First, I released a music video, and I'll talk more about that in a moment, but I published it live today, and it's available to watch and enjoy, or not enjoy, whatever your proclivity. Number 2 is I got COVID. So, I went down with basically feels like everyone else. It felt like this Omicron wave that swept across North America has gotten a lot of us down. So that was a fun way to spend some of the holidays. And then I'll talk about that in a moment as well. And number 3, I had my first week of university classes, so I'm on my adventure to having a kind of a new sort of year, very different type of year. If you guys watched my sort of like my yearly planning video where I talked about the word that I chose for the year, stability, and how I'm focused a lot more on process type goals and things like that, and just looking for sort of like a consistency in my temperament and my mood. That's something that I've been really thinking about this week in particular, now that I've mostly recovered from COVID and now that, regular life is beginning again in earnest. But yeah, right after the new year, basically my whole family unit either went down or like nothing happened at all. So this is something that I will probably talk about in a later video, but not right now. It's very difficult for me to talk about. I feel a whole lot of like shame and it's really tough for me to talk about except for with my closest friends. But a long time ago, a couple of years ago, I got divorced, and that's actually more than 2 years ago now. That was like a big subject of the album that I'm releasing and of the track that I released today, the music video that goes along with that track. So the reason I bring this up is because my daughter's dad went down with COVID first, and then he passed her off to me, and we were hoping that she didn't have it because she was testing negative and that we would somehow manage to insulate her, but then I got COVID and she was fine the whole time, but she was like a cute little vector, and I went down, and basically me, like my kid's parents, like me and him were the only ones who really went down, but it was rough. I've had 2 vaccines. I haven't had 3. I feel some regret about that now. I wish that I had gone to a walk-in clinic to get the booster shot, but I decided to put it on the schedule even though the nearest appointment was a month from now, basically. I figured, I can wait a month. I work from home. I'll just, I like going on a schedule more than just showing up and waiting for who knows how long. Sometimes there's no lines, sometimes there's lines. I don't like the unpredictability of things like that. I like to schedule things in. So regrets were had because I feel like the booster shot might have helped me get a little less sick. That seems to be what happens with Omicron as it reinfects or infects people who have the vaccine, who already have some kind of prior immunity. So it basically wasn't fun. I had like the classic Omicron symptoms, not traditional COVID. Fortunately, I didn't lose my sense of taste or what is it, sense of smell? Sense of smell, isn't it? Or is it taste? I think it's smell. That didn't happen. It was just fever, chills, and the really intense exhaustion. There was a couple days where I really couldn't get out of bed. The worst symptom though, I didn't have a single cough the whole time. However, my lungs just felt weird. I don't know, for those of you who've gotten COVID, maybe you had something similar, but it was like my lungs felt like they had a coating on them. So if I talked at a normal volume or laughed, it was painful. And if I walked to the kitchen or something very simple, very basic, non-strenuous movements, I would get winded. And it was just this it was really uncomfortable and I was fine. It's not like my blood oxygen levels were low or anything like that, but just that feeling of my lungs not working exactly as they should, even though I didn't have a cough, even though there was nothing that felt wrong on the outside. It was a really, really strange feeling to have that kind of shortness of breath. So fortunately, that's mostly gone. It's not all the way gone, and I'm about a week and a half since I got infected. So I even honestly now, maybe you can hear it in my voice when I'm talking, but I feel like I'm a little bit catching my breath. Even just like going on a simple walk outside, I have to walk a little slower. So really hoping these symptoms kind of wear off. My regular energy levels come back because I am feeling quite tired as well. But tiredness could also have something to do with the fact that I just released a music video and all the work that that entails, and that I just started classes and all the work that that entails. So that's the story of COVID. Fortunately, I feel pretty good now, and my child is fine. So nothing bad happened to her. She's golden. That was always the anxiety that I couldn't. She's too young to get vaccinated, so it was sort of, well, what's going to happen? Most kids are fine, but every now and then kids go to the hospital. Every now and then kids have long-term health issues because of COVID, and you don't know if that's going to be your kid until they go through it, and then you just gotta kind of have to cross your fingers and hope for the best. But crossing my fingers and hoping for the best, I think we're good. No major illness to be had, so feeling very optimistic. I feel oddly liberated now that I've gotten it. I've sort of, as long as I'm one of the fortunate ones who does not have any long-term symptoms, and I don't know if that's the case yet, so I don't want to preemptively celebrate or anything, but I do have a sense of relief, almost. It's like some of the fear of catching it has gone away because I've already caught it. That fear has been lived, and I got through it. So now I just kind of have this, it's like, oh, I want to go to like a restaurant. Or it's not that I didn't do that before, but I just have this sort of like liberated. I mean, obviously I want to be responsible. I don't want to spread COVID to other people, but I feel like now that I've had it, it's like, now is the time to go on a plane because my immunity is probably really good right now. But anyways, I probably won't do that. Those are just the thoughts. So finally, I'll talk more about the university stuff in a later video. But just to wrap up, I wanted to talk a little bit about the music video that we created. So we filmed a video for the track that I recorded called Persephone. And it was just a really, really, really bare bones film crew, if I could even call it that. It was basically just like 3-4 of us, depending on the moments. But fortunately, my really close friend Rob Hillstead, who filmed it, directed it, produced it, edited it, basically did all the work. He's really experienced. He's in the film industry. He's kind of, this is his jam. What I find really peculiar is he was also the first person I was ever in a band with. Way back in the days of a band that doesn't exist anymore called Cat Has the Key. When I was an 18-year-old sitting in the back of my friend's crappy car as we were driving around the city with nothing else to do, and I thought, I want to join a band. And then I found some online local forums for people looking for band members, and he came over and we had an acoustic jam session of, I don't know, I probably was too shy to sing, but probably sang a little bit of A Perfect Circle. I think he started playing Three Libras on guitar, and that was that. And then we were in a band, and he's been my friend ever since, kind of through thick and thin. And finally, after all this time, even though we've made music together for years, and even though he's been doing film for the entire time I've known him, we've never actually done a video together, which I think is very strange because we've also done like photography stuff together, and and he's also heavily involved in the track itself. So not just the video side, he also did the bass guitar and the acoustic guitar in the recording. So very important creative collaborator, and it was just it was awesome. I mean, we pulled it together in October. We had a weekend shoot. We had somewhat of a plan about like how do we create a video that tells a story in a really simple way that doesn't involve any really elaborate shooting. Something that was very doable with pretty much no crew, pretty much just like a few people. But something that still managed to tell a story and have a little bit of symbology and stuff like that, especially because the track is called Persephone, which is about Persephone. It's like mythologically based. So there was a desire on my part to at least capture symbols. And so there's like the really overt moment of like the pomegranate where it's like, okay, this is like pure Persephone symbol. That was a very on the nose, but it was also a little bit of a nod to past photo shoots. So we did a photo shoot once about a decade ago where I had like short, crazy pink hair, and I was doing all these death scenes. So I was like sitting at a feast with skulls, and I was holding a skull, or like it's like a rotten pomegranate. So it was kind of funny to call back to those days. Even though no one else who watches the video is gonna look at that pomegranate and be like, you know, except for someone who someone who knows Rob really well might oh, there's Rob and the pomegranates again. But I thought it was kind of a sentimental tie-in, even though that's obviously just a very inner joke thing. I'm sharing it with you, so hopefully that you'll see the pomegranate and smile. But there were other symbols as well, like the. I mean, I don't need to go into it too much. I'll let you just kind of form your own impressions on it. It was a really nice blend of spontaneous ideas and the inspiration of the moment and planned out scenes where we were really thinking about like how it was all going to kind of form together and be hopefully, I mean, my intent of course was for it to be a cohesive story, so hopefully something is felt when it's watched, but that's obviously a very individual thing. So anyways, I hope you enjoy it. If you do happen to check it out, it's very, very much a relief to get it done. And if you use Spotify or Apple Music or anything like that, you can also check out the track Persephone there. If you want to just, you know, hear audio version, that's great too. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your feedback. And yeah, there will be another single next month and we'll kind of go through this process all over again. All right, catch you guys later.